Good morning, children. Let's continue with the poem The Bengal Sailors by Sarojini Naidu. Two stanzas we have discussed yesterday, and now let's start with the third stanza of the poem. Some are like fields of sunlit corn, meet for a bride on her bridal morn. Some, like the flame of her marriage fire, are rich with the hue of her heart's desire, twinkling, luminous, tender, and clear, like her bridal laughter and bridal tear. So, before discussing the stanza in detail, let's discuss some of the words in the stanza. Sunlit cone, cone shining in the sun, referring to cone colored bangles. Cone is of yellow color. So, here sunlit cone means yellow colored bangles. Bridal morn, the morning on which a girl is to become a bride. Flame of her marriage fire, referring to fire colored bangles expressive of the passion in the heart of the bride. So the color of the fire is red. So here we are talking about red colored bangles. Hue. Hue means color. Tinkling. Creating a ringing sound. Here it is a use of onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia is a figure of speech that refers to sound. Luminous. Luminous means clear. Then tender, I have already told you in stanza 2 also. The meaning of tender is delicate, soft. Bridal laughter and bridal tear refers to the bride's happiness at her marriage and sorrow at the separation from her parents. So, in the third stanza, the narrator says that they have yellow bangles. Narrator are Bengal sellers. They say that they have yellow bangles which look like corn fields. They are suitable for a bride on her marriage morning. Some fiery red bangles are like the flame of her marriage fire. They are expressive of the passion in her heart at the time of marriage. The heart is passionate. They create a light ringing sound as the bride walks. They are shining and delicate as the laughter of the bride. As the girl is getting married, so she is happy. Or her tear as she sweeps at the separation from her parents. At the time of marriage, the girl who is getting married is happy also because she's going to start a new life, and she is a little unhappy also because it is the time when she has to separate from her parents. Now let's discuss the fourth and the last stanza of the poem. Some are purple and gold flecked grey, for she who has journeyed through life midway, whose hands have cherished, whose love has blessed, and cradled fair sons on her faithful breast, and serves her husband in faithful pride, and worships the gods at her husband's side. Before discussing the stanza in detail, let's discuss the meaning of some phrases and the words. Gold flecked grey means gold covered grey colored bangles. Flecked here means dots, meant for housewives or mothers. Life midway, middle aged. Cherished. Cherished means enjoyed. Blessed. Blessed means blessed. And cradled. Cradled here means reared or raised up. At her husband's side. It means a place of pride given in India to a woman after she has proved her worth as a daughter in law, wife, and mother. So, now let's discuss this stanza in detail. So, children, the fourth stanza describes the bangles meant for housewives or mothers who have given birth to their children. Some of these bangles are purple in color and some are gold flecked gray. All these bangles are meant for the married woman who is middle aged and whose hands have cared, loved, blessed, and brought up her fair sons, and who has proudly served her family as she has the honor of sitting by her husband's side at religious ceremonies. So, children, after discussing all the four stanzas of the poem, we come to know that, according to the poet, the life of an average Indian woman passes through three main stages: as a maiden when she is a young girl, as a bride, and as a mother. Each of this stage is described by the color of bangles. So we come to know that the main theme of the poem is that the bangles are a part and parcel of a woman's life in India. Each color or type of the bangles represents each stage in her life. Silver and blue or pink represents the stage of maidenhood when the girl is unmarried. Yellow, the morning of wedding. Fiery red, passionate longings in the bride's heart, symbolic of her bridal night, are representative of the girl's wedding. Gold and grey colors represent motherhood. So, after discussing all the four stanzas of the poem, we come to know that one theme of the poem is womanhood. And we come to know that a woman serves others throughout her life at different stages. And the another theme is patriarchy. It means the man rules the family. And the poet has not directly referred to the role and dominance of males in a woman's life, but there are enough hints of patriarchal setup in the poem. A man, as father, husband, and sons, plays an important role in every stage of her life. In the fourth stanza, in the fourth line, it is written, and cradled fair sons. The poet has not used here children. Especially sons has been mentioned here. It means Indian society, it is a male dominant society, and the main role in the family is of a man instead of woman. And women, they enjoy the secondary status in the family. And the poem reflects the patriarchy in Indian society, as the women in Indian society are expected to give birth to the sons only, not the daughters. According to the poet, women in Indian society are subjugated. Subjugated means bring under domination or control by the men. Now let's talk about the style and the literary devices used in the poem. First, we will talk about the form. The Bengal Sellers is written in a lyric form, and the rhyme scheme followed in each stanza is AABBCC, and it is written in a couplet form. Couplet form is when any stanza is written in two lines. Two lines stanzas are called couplet. And rhyme scheme is the pattern of words at the end of the each stanza. So here the rhyme scheme is AABBCC. And the next literary device is imagery. First, you understand what is imagery. The poet has used effective color imagery in the poem. For example, she chooses silver, blue, and pink hues. Hues means colors to represent maidenhood. Yellow for the bridal morning, and red or orange for the bridal night, and purple and gold for motherhood to represent women's feelings of pride and fulfillment in her married life. Most of the images come from the world of nature. Like in the poem, there is a mention of flowers, leaves, birds, streams, the sunlit cone, etc., have been used as comparisons. So, this is quite usual with the poets of Naidu's age, at least in the Indian context. Uh, and imagery means when we read something and uh, an image is created in our mind. So, here, when we read the poem, we can easily imagine the picture of flowers, leaves, birds, stream, etc. And next, it is used simile. Simile is a figure of speech used for comparison. Here, silver and blue as mountain mist. Some are flushed like the birds that dream. And there are three similes in the third stanza using like. Some are like fields of sunlit cone, some like the flame of her marriage fire, like her bridal laughter and bridal tear. So, here in these lines, the figure of speech is simile. Now, use of metaphors in poem. Metaphors are also comparisons. They are more compressed and direct. We do not use the words like or as to make the comparison. So, here in the poem, rainbow tinted circles of light. In this line, metaphor is used for bangles. Shining loads, again, metaphor for bundles of shining bangles. And flushed like the birds that dream, metaphor for maidens lost in their dreams of marriage. So, children, I hope you have understood the poem well, all the poetic devices also we have discussed. And now, today, again, you have to read the poem and go through the word meanings, and then do stanza 3 and the assignment questions in the workbook you have to do. And as usual, answers will be discussed the next day. Do your work on time, stay happy and healthy.